This ain't your ordinary football show. It's the Old Dominion Football Show with Bruce Rader and Coach Bobby Wilder.
Nobody said it was going to be easy, this transition to FBS football and Conference USA. That upset win against Rice 2 weeks ago gave everyone high expectations, but remember, Coach Bobby Wilder was quick to urge everyone to keep things in perspective. Fans across America saw Old Dominion at its best in its Conference USA debut, but a talented Middle Tennessee forced the Monarchs into too many mistakes and wore them down at the end. Things get even tougher tomorrow when the Marshall thunders into SB Ballard Stadium. How do you tame the herd? Let's find out. The Old Dominion Football Show starts now. I'm Bruce Rader along with Coach Bobby Wilder. Is Marshall the most talented team you've ever played?
I think they are, Bruce. And we played, as you know, some really good teams in our 5.5 years as a program. But I compare them, looking back last year, to ECU, Maryland, Pittsburgh, North Carolina. Played very talented teams so far this year in NC State, Rice, Middle Tennessee. But they're clearly the class of Conference USA, the best team, I think, completely, Bruce, that we've seen. When you look at their offense averages 600 yards, 46 points. Their defense only gives up 330 yards and 15 points. And then they're good on special teams. So all three phases, very talented team.
A quick look back at last week's game against Middle Tennessee. First of all, the whiteout night, national TV, the 12th Monarchs at their best. What an experience.
It was, Bruce. What an incredible atmosphere that we played in. And we were all just so disappointed, players and coaches, that we didn't play to the level that our fans performed. And what President Broderick and his staff did to make that a possibility, because as you know, we have 2,500 students going to class on campus. We've got a lot of students that go to night school, so they had to make sure that worked. And then what Wood Seelig and our athletic department did to make it a special night with the card stunt, where you saw the ODU and the Ready to Play Conference USA, all the energy, enthusiasm. I'm really grateful, Bruce, to everybody that made that a possibility.
And then the game started, and those uncharacteristic turnovers just killed you.
They did, Bruce. That's something, as you said it right there, it's a perfect word, uncharacteristic. To have an interception on the first play of the game, to have 3 turnovers in our first 5 drives. We've punted the ball, Bruce, out of an offensive formation, that surprise punt, for 5.5 years. It's the first time anybody's ever returned it on it for a touchdown. And that punt actually was 55 yards. We flipped the field, but they're all conference safety. Kevin Byard broke 3 tackles and brought it back. So that put us in a big hole early, but I love the way our defense responded, Bruce. We came out after the first play interception and what we call sudden change. Bumi Rotimi with a big sack forced them to punt. Then after David Washington fumbled after the 55-yard catch, fumbled into the end zone when we could have gone up 7-0. Defense gets a turnover. TJ Rick strips it. So we're making a lot of progress in that regard, but we were just on the field for too many plays in the first half.
Tuesday night on the Sports Wrap, we talked about Coach Rick Nagy's defense and how they've really upped their game. What caused this turnaround?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing we're seeing, Bruce, is that we've now got on defense. We've got 30 players that have played this year. 22 of those players are second-year players in this defense. So they've been with Coach Nagy and Coach Kamish, and now we've added Kermit Buggs and Coach Perkins. Those guys are all Division I coaches. They all have that experience. So to have 22 players that have experience, we only have 8 players that are first-year players in the rotation, so that's really helped. And I don't want to overstate this, Bruce, because we're still allowing a lot of yards. We're still giving up 32 points, but you and I remember from last year at this point, we were giving up 500 yards and 50 points a game, so that improvement is there, and I think we're only going to get better.
It's so funny you talk about how exciting it is to have second-year guys.
Right.
How are you going to feel when these are fourth-year guys out there?
2 years from now, everybody's been here for a while. It's going to be great.
Now, of all the stats regarding Marshall, the one that stands out for me, that they have outscored their opponents 103-6 in the first half alone. I mean, they know how to jump out to a quick start.
They do, Bruce, and I know you've been around football a long time, as have I. What that really says is they're ready to play. I mean, they're ready to play the game physically, the right way. When you jump up and you're averaging outscoring your opponents 25.5 to 1.5 in the first half, basically the game's over. And that's what they've done. And it's not just their defense, it's their offense dominating with points and field position, their special teams making big plays. But one of the real keys for us, Bruce, is we need to be in this game at halftime. That's a big thing for us because I look back at Marshall, Bruce. They're 4-0 this year. They were 10-4 last year, and in their losses last year, 4 of their games that they played in were touchdown games at the end, and they were 1-3 in those games. So if we can get them in the fourth quarter, get them in a game, that improves our opportunity to win.
103-6 in the first half alone.
Nobody in the country's done that.
You gotta be kidding me.
I wish I was.
Still to come, we've seen running back Jared Johnson lay down some moves on the field, but wait till you see the moves he lays down in this week's 1-minute drill. And Coach Wilder answers your question as we dive into the mailbag for another installment of the Coach's Corner.
Welcome back to the Old Dominion Football Show. The 1-minute drill is back, and we're here with sophomore running back Gerard Johnson. Now, Gerard, you were a freshman last year. Sometimes freshmen can get picked on. Was there any prank that your teammates pulled on you?
Oh yeah, when we went to UNC before the night before the game.
The nightmare continues in Chapel Hill.
Somebody called to my room, acting like they was the people at the front desk, but they was Taylor Heineke. Called to my room and told me the people at the front office had wanted me for some fees in my room. They said I used internet and all that, and they told me to come downstairs. When I went to the desk, everybody was like, they ain't calling me down there. And I looked at Taylor, and they over there in the back smiling and laughing.
You say you love to dance. What's your go-to dance move? As a freshman, was there any prank that you wanted to pull on any of your teammates?
I probably could get Coach Z, probably saying I ain't coming to a meeting, and he'll probably call real fast, so that's probably the only thing.
This is Gerard Johnson, the running back, and he's passed the 1-minute drill. Why don't you say goodbye to the Monarch Nation?
Goodbye, Monarch Nation. See y'all next Saturday.
All right, Coach. Clarence from Chesapeake wants to know if Taylor Heineke had to leave a game with an injury, would you burn Schuler Bentley's red shirt, or would you go with David Washington?
Well,
That's a tough one.
That is a tough one. The first player we'd go to would be David Washington, and David's practiced at quarterback as well as he's doing at receiver. I think he'd be outstanding at quarterback. We also have Colin McElroy because we're going into the 6th game of the season, and generally when you get to that midpoint of the season, you don't want to play any of the guys that you're looking to redshirt. Thanks for the question, Clarence.
All right, as well as they played last week, Middle Tennessee could not stop the Taylor Heineke, Antonio Vaughn connection. I know you want to be balanced, but is there going to be a lot of pressure on you to go to your passing game tomorrow?
Yeah, I think that's been our staple. It's the best thing we do. We really want to run the ball as much as we can, but when you talk what you just said about Heineke and Vaughn, I mean, there's 7 catches, 105 yards, 3 touchdowns for Vaughn, and overshadowed a little bit, Bruce, is the fact that Zach Pascal had 8 catches for 110 yards. He's the leading receiver right now in Conference USA, Zach Pascal. Vaughn's 3rd. Vaughn leads in touchdowns with 7. So that's a great 1-2 punch. We'd like to have more balance in the run game. A lot of that will be dictated by the game. As you know, in that Middle Tennessee game, we're down 24-0. We were chasing points, so we had to throw the ball a lot.
So finally, what are your keys to beating probably the best opponent you've faced in ODU history?
Well, the number one thing will be not turn the ball over. Can't have 4 turnovers. We got to slow down their run game, Bruce. They're averaging 290 yards a game rushing, and then stay out of 3rd and long. They're one of the leading teams in the country on defense against 3rd and long.
All right. Old Dominion against unbeaten Marshall. Noon tomorrow at SB Ballard Stadium. Take an umbrella for tailgating. Good luck, Coach.
Appreciate it. Thanks,
We'll see you
Bruce.
next week at 10:45.